This video will show you how to apply for AFE program. Remember, this video is intended for students without permanent code. Students with permanent code can apply online directly, and we will explain to them in another video. And now, let's get started. First of all, we need to download all forms. Open your browser and type in Google, Forms-Loans and Bursaries program. Choose Loans and Bursaries for full-time studies. You can choose French language or English from here. Open Forms Loans and Bursaries program. Click on Current Year. Note, if you want to apply before June, make sure to click on the previous year. Right-click on File number 1001 to open the link in a new tab, and also File number 1005. Same process for File number 1095. And the last file, 1152. This all forms you need it. You can save it anywhere you want on your device. To fill out these forms, you need PDF application. You can use this free PDF reader. Now we will explain these forms. It should be noted that some students do not need to fill out all of these forms. Form number 1001 must be completed by all students. Form number 1005 must be completed only by a student who has children. And Form number 1095 must be completed by the student whose parents or spouse never lived in Canada before 1st of January, 2023. Finally, Form number 1152 must be completed by your husband or wife, if you are married. Now we start with the first form, number 1001, which must be filled out by all students. Let us suppose that the student's name is Sarah Majid. Let us assume that her date of birth is 1990, August 30. Here we put the social insurance number. Leave this field blank because the student does not have a permanent student code. The gender and the language. In Section B, let us assume that Sarah has a permanent resident and put the date she obtained the permanent resident and the category code. You will find the date and code in the confirmation of permanent residence paper. In the case of a refugee student, he will choose this box and enter the date he obtained the notice of decision. You will find the date of notice of decision in the notice of decision paper. In Section C, you will put your address, phone number, and your email. In the second section, let us assume that Sarah was not born in Quebec. We will choose No, and that her parents are not in Quebec, and she has CSQ. But if you do not have CSQ, then choose No, and you will write Arrow 6 in the fourth box. Next, leave the second page blank. Also, leave the third page blank. Remember this well. On the fourth page, go directly to full-time studies. Suppose your program started on 10 January 2024 and will end on 10 June 2024. Let us assume that the name of the program is Starting a Business or a Sales Representative, and you can obtain the program code from your college. Here you put the name of the school board and the school code. I previously assumed that Sarah did not live with her parents, so I will put no. It is preferable to check this box, unless you are 100% sure that you will continue studying after this course without stopping for more than 3 months. In any case, you can now choose no. Then if you change your mind, call AFE and ask them to choose yes. In the fourth section, we choose marital status. In Sarah's scenario, we'll choose married and write the date of marriage. Here we put the name of the husband or wife. Suppose that Sarah's husband is named Adam Adnan, and we write his date of birth and he does not have a student code. For page 5 and page 6, you can only choose what applies to you. In Sarah's scenario, we will choose the first option from C and write the date of birth of the first child. We will choose the fifth option and the date of marriage. The rest of the cases do not apply to Sarah. We now move to the 7th page. In this section, you must choose no, unless you are receiving financial assistance, in which case you must contact AFE and consult them. In the 6th section, you will declare your income 1 year ago. This section is very important, and I advise you to consult your own accountant. In Sarah's scenario, let's assume that she is studying in 2024, and therefore she will declare her income in 2023. Suppose that her gross employment income for the year 2023 was $7,000, and her income from Uber or self-employment income was $3,500, and the remaining options are 0. These fields should not be left empty. If you have no income, type 0. Section C does not apply to Sarah. We will leave it blank. Section 7 talks about the loan. You can reject the loan and be satisfied with the bursary only, because the loan must be returned as soon as possible. After completing, write the date when you fill out the form, then print it, and after printing, sign it in the designated space. Now let's move to the children form, form number 1005. Put here your name and date of birth. Suppose that Sarah has 2 children. The first child's name is Amira Adnan. She was born in 2017 on the 4th of January, and because she is in school, she must have a permanent student code. We choose yes, because Amira lives with her mother. Here, we choose Group A, and we will explain that later. Her second child is Umar Adnan, and because he did not attend school, he does not have a permanent student code. From the second page, you can determine which group your children belong to, A, B, or C. Read it carefully. Thus, we have finished the second form. Now we move to form number 1095. This form must be completed by the student only whose parents or spouse never lived in Canada before January 1st, 2023. Print this form, and you must fill it out when you go to the Commissioner of Oaths, or Service Quebec, or your college. Write your name here, and choose the appropriate case here, and you can ask the Commissioner of Oaths about the rest of the information, and he will guide you how to fill it out. The third section will be filled out and stamped by the Commissioner of Oaths, along with your signature. And done. The last form with us is number 1152. This form must be filled out and signed by the student's husband or wife. In Sarah's scenario, we assume that Sarah's husband is named Adam Adnan, and here the rest of his information. In the second section, we put the student's or Sarah's information, then the date of the marriage. In the third section, you must focus on this section well. In Sarah's scenario, in Form 1001, Sarah declared her income a year ago, and we assumed the year 2023, but her husband will declare his income 2 years earlier, in 2022. In some cases, the student will need to declare his income in the same year, and the husband declares it a year before. Make sure to ask your college so as not to put misinformation. Here, Adam will declare his final income in 2022. You can find your total income in the Quebec revenue sheet in line 199. You can consult your accountant about this information. Finally, we put the date, then print the form, and the husband or wife have to sign it. Now, we finish all our forms. What next? If you open any form from here and go to the bottom of the page, you will find the name and address where you need to send your documents. You must send the following documents: the forms that you filled out, a copy of the PR, preferably stamped by the Commissioner for Oaths, or your citizenship, or your Notice of Decision paper, the CSQ, your birth certificate translated into English or French, and the children's birth certificate, if you have children, translated into English or French. Finally, your marriage certificate, if you are married. Put all these documents in an envelope, then write your name and address at the top on the left, and in the middle, write the name and address of AFE. And send the envelope by mail. After approximately 10 days, AFE will send you the registration link to be able to monitor and receive your bursary. With this, we have finished. If you have any questions, you can ask our college on WhatsApp at the following number.